Oh, I'm live early. Holy shit. Hold on a second, guys. Let me get some things here. Okay. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining Brian Rundle with It's Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. Lana should be joining me here any second now. She just told me she is on her way, so we will be seeing her popping on in. And I actually started early. I usually hit my little 30-second countdown clock, and I don't know what happened to my head. I forgot to set the little 30-second clock, but what difference does it make? We're here now. And, there's a lot of things to chat about here. If you saw the stock market today and yesterday, it has crashed. If you knew anything about how the tariffs were going to hit and any of that stuff, you already knew it was going to crash. You knew that there was going to be big problems. So we already have a stock market crash. We have gas prices that are going up. We have food prices that are going up. We have unemployment going up. Just in a little over 2 months since this moron has taken over our country. And I know there's a lot of you still out there that can't believe what is happening to our country and why it's happening to our country. And there's a lot of people out there, sadly and inexplicably, still defending this and still saying, yeah, this is great. I voted for this. This is awesome. And I think at some point it's going to come back and it's going to come back and haunt them, and they're going to find out the hard way. We've been trying to warn them for a very, very, very long time, but nobody wants to listen. And part of that too, actually, a lot of it has to do with the way the right-wing propaganda media has basically shaped the narrative of what Democrats and the left and liberals, or whatever the label it is that you want to put on them. They did a phenomenal job of villainizing almost and making those words a bad word to a lot of Americans. And I'm not saying that the Democratic Party is perfect by any means, but when we're comparing it to this other side, and I'm not calling them Republicans because they're not real Republicans. Real Republicans stand for the rule of law. Real Republicans are constitutionalists. Real Republicans actually care about the United States of America. They are not siding with Vladimir Putin and Russia the way our current administration seems to want to do. And, for the longest time, we were calling Elon Musk the president. And it is quite clear that Elon Musk is not the president of this country. The president of this country is Vladimir Putin. There's no question about it. Right now, Vladimir Putin is running shit in this country, period. Elon Musk is the vice president. And Donald Trump is his big, dumb, empty-headed vessel that they use every single day to infiltrate our country. This has been Vladimir Putin's plan for a very long time, because Vladimir Putin has known forever that there's no way that he could beat us militarily. There's just no chance. There's no way it would ever be able to happen. So how does he do it? He does it with intelligence. What a perfect way to come in. I say the word intelligence, and look who pops up.
Hi.
Hello, Lana Quest. What's going on?
What's not going on with me?
You are not kidding.
Something going on. What the?
Can you hear my mic okay? Does it sound clear? It's not distorted or anything?
Oh, you're good.
All right.
Sorry I'm late.
No, I don't give a shit. Just as long as you show up, because nobody wants to listen to me ramble on for hours. They like I've said before, people are here to hear Lana Quest, and I just happen to be able to join in with her.
Yeah.
You got a new angle tonight.
Okay, so there's a lot of updates going on. That's why. So we changed the kitchen and got a kitchen island. So it's going this way now and not the way. So the background is different. I can't sit on the opposite side. So now I have to change. I was just on a bank. Like, 2 quick stories, dude. So
hit me.
It's a good thing that the banks now are doing like all of these fraud alerts, but it's not helpful when you're like saying updating your house. You know, you're doing updates, so you're buying like larger ticket items, right? They keep flagging me. Like I keep getting flagged for fraud. So I was
Hmm.
just trying to buy something. That's why I'm late. Like I was getting something, $400. They send me the email, yes or no, if this is you. I hit yes. And then I go back, I wait the 60, and it still didn't work. And I'm like, what the fuck? Let me try another card. Then I tried it. What the fuck? It don't work. So I called the bank. Apparently, there's so many Apple charges that come out of my account. They were like, oh, what is this shit? And I
Yeah.
was like, I can't even confirm it because I don't keep track of what's coming out.
Right.
I just know there's a bunch of shit that comes out. And
Yep.
like $2.99. I'm like, oh, that sounds weird. And I'm like, what Apple? Like Apple's good with their fraud too. So you
Right.
can't be like I don't understand. Like they're doing the withdrawal, so how can that be? Whatever the case is, but the Apple phone has a great thing on it where you can go into your purchase history. So it listed like
Yeah. Yep.
Apple Care for like my daughter's watch, Apple Care for my like that's what that was. Extra space on it. Like I was like, please confirm it. So that's done. Second story, I went to Lowe's and the racism in Lowe's. This woman would not even wait on me.
Wait, there's racism in Lowe's?
Did
What?
you see my TikTok? I did a TikTok about it. I walked into Lowe's to get a fucking refrigerator and a washer dryer, like items, some things.
Yeah.
This woman would not look up. A black woman came over, tried to give us a credit card, whatever. Didn't, that's just her job. Let her do a spiel. So she was like, okay, well, is anyone helping you? We're like, nope, we've been here. She's like, Carol Ann, can you help these customers? Right. And I'll get to how it's relevant. Carol Ann, can you help these customers? Carol Ann.
First of all, real quick, the name Carol Ann's not a good start.
Carol Ann would not look up. She just didn't. So then she's an older black woman. She goes, I'm going to go and get a sister. She's like, not my sister, but a sister. So then she leaves, and Michelle comes. Michelle was great. She helped us so much. Hey, did you know that if you buy an extended warranty and you don't use it, you can get that money back? Never knew that information. No one ever told me that.
Yeah.
So as Michelle is helping us with just everything, Carol Ann had, I don't know, like stealth like moved from the register now over to like the appliances, still just standing around. And then Michelle leans in and she goes, ever since Donald Trump got elected, the white people, the older white people at this store will not wait on black people.
You are kidding me.
Yep. That's what she said. She said Carol Ann won't even help her black co-workers.
Michelle probably needs to not just lean into you and tell you that. She might want to tell management that.
She said it. She has told, they have complained about this very thing, and they're not doing anything in, I guess, that branch, because apparently a black man is like the CEO or CFO of Lowe's. Like he worked at Target. Like he started from the bottom, literally, and worked his way up. But no, Carol Ann is like, hey, Carol Ann, if you don't want to do this job, then don't be in service. It's like, that's crazy. But that's my story.
And you said it before. We talked about it on the show before. They won. Why the fuck are they angry?
Right.
What are they so mad at?
Why wouldn't you help? You won. That's like your opportunity to brag about Trump. Because what am I going to do? I just want you to ring up my stuff. Like, why wouldn't you? Okay, here's the thing. If they worked on commission, Carol Ann would gobble up all the black customers, right? And not let the black coworkers get any of them, but they don't work on commission. It's just the sales. Like it looks good, but that's just wild. Like it's just, and so that also means the white racists are doing half the work because they're only tending to, white people, whereas the black workers or the workers of color probably tended to everyone, right? Like white, black, whoever.
Yeah,
they don't care. Like, but Carol Ann probably making more than all of them.
Well,
Caroline.
Maybe it's possible, Lana, and we'll probably talk about this tonight. It's possible Carol Ann might be looking at her vote and regretting it. And now she's trying to, just like a
Right?
lot of very uneducated people do, is they like to point fingers and blame others for their own mistakes and their own problems. My guess is that Carol Ann is doing that. Before I get started with the show, do you like my t-shirt?
Go for Mexico. That's what's up. I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna say go for Russia.
No, well, it's going to. We're all going to be wearing Russian shirts because before you came on, that's basically what we've been talking about, is that, we joked about Elon Musk being our president, and it's clear now that he's not our president. Our president right now is Vladimir Putin,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Elon Musk is the vice president, and Donald Trump is the stupid, empty-headed moron who they are using to give their message to him. And he knows obviously how to do it. Although if you listen to him, and we're going to listen to some clips of him, clearly is struggling to speak and struggling to get his thoughts together. But Lana, let's start the show. We're going to start with possibly is probably the wrong word, definitely the worst display I think maybe any of us has ever seen in the White House. And that is what we saw last week when Donald Trump, JD Vance, Marco Rubio, and a bunch of people in the press and a bunch of yes men that Donald Trump, that they bow down and get on their knees for Donald Trump, all surrounded this man who is fighting literally for his country in a war that he did not start. He had nothing to do with. He's just saying, all I'm doing is defending myself. But before we get into the commentary of that, Lana, let's painfully go back and watch some of what took place in that White House the other day. And it, for me personally, is as upsetting now as it was the first time I saw it.
Tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Cards.
Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
Now, real quick, before we get into this fucking idiot JD Vance stepping in, because JD Vance basically was given a script to him by Tucker Carlson and said, look, you go after Vladimir Zelensky so you can please Vladimir Putin, but you can also please your daddy sitting next to you. It was kind of like a child in a school play. And he was like, I'm going to show daddy how good I am at this play. Yeah. But that is, I mean, Lana, that's about as disgraceful as it gets. I know you and we spoke about it on that particular day because there was just, we weren't doing the show and we were like, we got to talk about this. And as I said, it's as disgusting now as it was on the day that it happened.
I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just like, it makes my stomach hurt every time I watch it. And what really makes my stomach hurt is that Zelensky has to come back here, say that it was a regrettable meeting, and halfway kiss this fucking orange goblin's ass, right? Mm-hmm. To save his fucking people.
And his own life.
And like, you fucking pig. Like, what a fucking pig you are to he came there and he very smartly said, Mr. President, can I show you these pictures?
Right.
So you can see for yourself, because I know you have an affinity for Putin, but I can't say it, but I want you to see what he's doing to my people. And he fucking looked at those pictures and still like, Like, what do you want him to do? Get on his fucking knees? Like, what a fucking pig! Like, what a I can't. It's whoa. It's just that's all I can do.
And I know this is not obviously it's not a movie, but if this were a movie and you saw this, you couldn't wait till the end to see this guy get his comeuppance at the end. Now, will he? Probably not. But but that's what it's sad that this is the American president and we're rooting literally against this American president because that's how awful of a human being he is. But let's get back to the clip here where his little JD Vance decides he's going to get and play tough guy now.
They should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't been
in this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this cabinet.
We gave you through this stupid president.
I don't know, Lana. Do you want to watch any more of that?
No.
I actually don't either. There's like another minute and a half of that, and I'm not sure I want to watch one more second of that because it's so fucking disgraceful and it's disgusting. And this guy continues to embarrass our country over and over again, and he's also embarrassing our coworkers. He is embarrassing our friends, our family, our just everybody around us. This kind of shit never happened when we were growing up. Did we have differences when we were talking politics if we were really into it? Yeah, and there was a lot less people into it because you had to have some sort of intellect to talk about politics. You had to be able to understand it. And now you don't have to be able to understand politics. All you have to do is be able to understand the lowest form of communication. And if you can understand the lowest form of communication, now all of a sudden you think you're an expert on politics. And this is just very hard and difficult to deal with because the stupid people are dominating this country. I mean, literally dominating right now. Although there is a groundswell, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But, Lana, anything to add?
I mean, even if you don't understand, like, okay, Putin bad, Zelensky,
right.
Like, why is that so hard? Like, why are we going, he should just give up when he did? It's like, literally, if Putin just came in and said, I want Florida. And what do? Okay, going to take it? Like, what are you fucking talking about? That's literally what Putin did. Like, you're yelling at a man who every chance he gets, he thanks America. And the minerals deal apparently was his idea because he was so grateful to America. He had brought that up before. Like, this is something that had just been left on the table, but he offered that up before to tell America or show America how grateful that he has been. Like, what does he come in groveling on his? It didn't matter, right? And that's the other piece,
right?
He wore a fucking suit. It would have been like, oh, he's wearing. That's where our money is going. These Armani.
No question.
If he came groveling, he's pathetic. He's a pathetic president. Like, he wouldn't have won because the whole thing was not for a fucking peace talks. How do you have peace talks with the media there? You have Russian reporters in the audience. Like, you have fucking the horse's boyfriend there talking about you're not in a suit. You have JD Vance going, Daddy, did I do good? Can I get a lollipop? Like, what is this? What was that?
Lana, I mean, first of all, when you have Russian reporters in there and you're banning American reporters from being in there, number one. Number two, we have equated this administration to professional wrestling. And this is basically a script that was written like you would in professional wrestling. I remember when I was growing up, I watched professional wrestling all the time. And like Hulk Hogan was the American hero. Do you remember who the bad guys were every time? The Russians. Yeah. They would always bring a Russian guy in against the American hero. Like you just said, it is, the basic understanding that Putin is bad. He's not our friend. You used to watch movies all the time. It was the United States against a Russian that was the bad guy in the movie.
He's also the one who keeps taking Americans. Like, how is this hard? Like, he takes hostages. Like, he lies and keeps them in jail for decades and decades and decades. And we don't understand that he's the bad guy?
Well, we have a problem. The reason why we don't understand that he's the bad guy, we understand. And I would imagine Baby Juggernaut, who's joined us. Hey, Baby Juggernaut, great to see you as always. But the other people watching this understand. But there's revisionist history now, because now we have some Americans that are very strange and love this whole Russian idea. And a lot of it comes with, and you can hear them talking about it. I heard Marjorie Taylor Greene say that Russia, they are all about Christian values and Ukraine isn't. So this is some weird, ultra far right religious bullshit that it is coming from. The Tucker Carlsons of the world, the Mike Flynns of the world, who are Russian assets. And they are now spewing their revisionist history so they can have people argue that have no idea what they're talking about, but they're arguing Russian talking points, not because they know the history. It's because they heard Tucker Carlson say it, or they hear Fox News all night long talking about how disrespectful Zelensky was. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But we just saw something infuriating, and you just brought this up, Lana. I will tell you, this might be, I don't know if this is more infuriating or not. Let's play the clip and then I will make my judgment. But you brought this up earlier already, and this just fucking pissed me off.
For President Zelensky, why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level.
By the way, I'm rewinding that real quick. When he asked the question, watch these fucking assholes' reaction.
Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country.
They're all laughing at him.
Rubio knows. He's not laughing because he fucking knows. He's uncomfortable. He's uncomfortable right there. He looked around like,
Rubio was the only one where you thought, okay, this guy's got at least half credentials. But again, I will say the one thing Donald Trump got right was calling that man Little Marco, because that's what he is. He's a little teeny tiny speck of whatever you want to call a man. But look at him. He's kind of slouching down. He was like, this is not good. And this is not what I think. But he has to play the,
Is that Alex Jones?
No, because I would have heard that. If that were Alex Jones in there, then I think it would have been time to just move.
It's not. Who is that?
No, I think first of all, that guy's he's not as bloated as Alex Jones is, but I want to finish this clip and then we'll get
back. Office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such. I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe
something like yours. Yes. Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you.
That's fucking disgraceful right there, what they just did to that fucking dude. It really is. And I swear to God, he's the kind of dude that if somebody just saw him out on the street, I mean, that is disgraceful what he just did.
Yeah.
That's a bully. That's what you teach your children not to do.
Yeah, you felt bad for Zelensky. Like, he's literally, everyone's laughing at him. And it's like, he's just there trying to get money to save his people. And he has to be here. He has to sit and be humiliated.
And Baby Juggernaut's right. Did anybody ask Elon Musk if he owns a suit?
No, of course not. There's like a million pictures of him His baby fucking rubbed boogies on the fucking Resolute desk. Ain't no one saying shit. Elon does not wear suits, and he didn't wear a suit to his cabinet meeting. Have we seen him in a suit in the White House?
No. Did that dipshit just have his 14th kid with another woman, by the way, that I saw?
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
This is incredible. But anyway, Lana, here is, because this might be the most irritating, frustrating, infuriating show I think that we might have done. And Donald Trump actually won the election. This one, it really pisses me off because every fucking clip just irritates me. But here's JD Vance describing what happened in the White House that day with a little smirk on his face, laughing about it and giving his view on what actually took place.
The rails, of course, is when I asked, or you had a Polish journalist who asked a question, the president answered it, and then I answered it, and then something about my answer just really set Zelensky off. So then he came at me.
So you're blaming yourself.
then I went back at him, right. And what I tried to do originally was actually try to diffuse the situation a little bit, because I'm like, we're having this meeting. Obviously, there are 100 television cameras here. Let's try to have this conversation in private. And then the president, as we kept on going back and forth, I tried again to say, well, maybe we should have this conversation in private. And the president was like, nope, actually, I don't want to have it in private anymore. I want to have this actual conversation in public for the American people to see. And
I think he's just happy that he's getting some attention because he's about as far back in the line right now as could possibly be. So he's going to take any attention he can get. But these, I don't know, Lana, I just, and these are the people who call themselves Christian and men of Jesus and God. I don't know how these people look at themselves in the mirror. I just don't. I don't get it.
Again, I remain speechless because I don't get why people don't get why this is not okay. Was it 90% of the aid that goes to Ukraine actually stays here because we're making the weaponry here?
Correct.
And ammunition. So it's like, how fucking stupid can we be? Like, that's why Nebraska's going bankrupt. Y'all
right.
Dummies. It's like fucking dummies. Just fucking dummies. Like, I can't even say it enough. It's just.
Do they even know it's happening to them? Do they know why it's happening to them? And that's what is the most frustrating thing out of all this. They were warned over and over and over again. I'm going to play something here a little bit later that's going to touch on that. So we'll get back to that part of it. But they asked Donald Trump and said, hey, man, it kind of looks like Russia's kind of happy because you're lining up with what they're, interested in. And this old, just moronic idiot, first of all, can never hear a question anymore. He always has to ask the reporter, like literally every time, what's that? I didn't hear you. Huh? But here's the reporter asking this stupid dipshit about what Russia thinks about this whole thing.
Russia is saying that your foreign policy is largely in line with their vision. Should that be concerning to Americans?
Said what?
Should that be concerning to Americans?
Read the statement.
That Russia says that your administration's foreign policy is, quote, largely in line with their vision.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it takes two to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. You're going to have the assent, and you're going to have the consent from the European nations, because I think that's important. And
Roll it. Look at the two do boys next to him, just shaking their head. Yes, sir. Oh, my God. First of all, it's the most incoherent answer, but they're shaking their heads.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
He said Europe. They're like, shit, that's a word I understand. Yeah.
Yep, I get it. Oh, yes, sir. Everything you say is just perfect, sir.
From us, I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal. And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It can be made.
The guy on the left is acting a little bit better. The guy on the right, I think, absolutely is just 100% in. The guy on the left is kind of like, all right, I'm going to do my best here.
Very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long. Because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else. We talk about suffering. They've suffered. But if you think about it, under President Bush, they got Georgia.
Oh,
Right? Russia got Georgia. Under President Obama, they got a nice big submarine base, a nice big chunk of land where they have their submarines. You know that, right?
We couldn't even remember Crimea.
Under President Trump, they got nothing. And under President Biden, they tried to get the whole thing.
President
they
Biden
tried to get the whole big...
Again, this is the kind of nonsense. You can only listen to so much. There's more to that clip, but I can only listen to so much. And I can promise you, if you want to play the rest of the clip somewhere else and say you didn't let him finish, trust me, he didn't finish with anything coherent.
Dude,
I know.
What is the deal? Like, what is the deal that he is making with Russia? Because so far, Russia hasn't had to do anything.
Nothing.
They've stopped like the cybersecurity, whatever the shit was going on, us watching their cybersecurity freaking intel. I don't know. Hexa said, we're not doing that anymore. We're taking sanctions off. Well, like what is the payment? What is Russia doing? We want Ukraine to do XYZ. Trump, what is Russia doing? Like what? Just sitting pretty and let you do their bidding? Like no one's asking that question. Like what is Russia bringing to the table? Fucking nothing.
There's one or two things that I can think of, Lana, and neither one of them are good. The first one is that for years now, we have been hearing that Vladimir Putin has something on Donald Trump. Does he? I don't know. I have no idea. But you have to, really consider that as a strong possibility. The other thing is Putin finding a way on the outside to make Donald Trump extremely rich in ways that we're not seeing. And other than that, I cannot possibly think of what it could be. Well, maybe there is a third one, is that we know as terrible and evil of a person Vladimir Putin is, we know he's 1,000 times smarter than Donald Trump.
Correct.
And he was in the KGB, for crying out loud. So to infiltrate this feeble man's brain, he may have done or said something that makes him feel like he needs to show fealty to him the same way his supporters show to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's got to be. There's nothing else, because I have never seen an American person outside of somebody like Michael Flynn, but before this Trump thing, never seen anybody show their loyalty to Russia or the Russian president. Never in my lifetime, ever.
Like this. Like it just willing to publicly profess his love to Putin. It's just like, what the fuck? Putin don't have to say shit. This dude is like, he's the one groveling on his knees to Putin and then comes back to us like, I'm the tough guy. It's like, but you're not. You're Putin's bitch. Like, yeah, you are.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we have too many people who don't see it that way. They're defending the line that they're being told that this is a good thing, that this is something that is better for us, and that Ukraine, now I've heard that Ukraine is corrupt and they're the ones who really need to. I've kind of used the analogy before. It's kind of a simple one, Lana. If I'm living at my house and people break into my house and say, I live here now, and I call the police, and the police in this particular instance is supposed to be the United States, and the police come in and start yelling at me about me calling the police on them, is bizarre to me. It is just absolutely bizarre.
But it's so crazy because everyone and their mother on the right side has said Putin has signed peace agreements before and he breaks them, because the only thing that peace agreements do for Putin is give him a chance to re-up, regrow his army, strategize again, and come back stronger. Like he has done that over the years. Do we think that he's not going to finish and destroy Ukraine? He hates Zelensky. He wants Ukraine. And then he keeps going. Like, that's what people don't get. It's like Europe gets it that Zelensky and Ukrainians are literally fighting for Europe. He's holding the fort. They're at the fort saying, you can't get through to Poland. You have to get through us first. Like, he's been doing that. Like, why does America think? And Zelensky made that comment. Like, you're comfortable now because you have this beautiful ocean, right? Like the ocean between the wars, right? You have separation now. But it's going to hit you because it is. Because what we see and MAGA doesn't see, but what our enemies see is us being weakened. And we will. And I keep saying it's not because I want it to happen, but because I know it's going to happen. We are going to be attacked within these 4 years, whether it's a cyber attack or whether it's an attack. We are going, because we're ripe for the picking. Like, our enemies would be fucking stupid if they did not attack us within these 4 years, right? Then what do? Call for Europe? We're going to ask Canada to help us?
Yep.
Are we going to ask France to help us? After we're like Canada, we're putting 12% tariffs or 25, whatever the fuck it was. We're going to go to Putin? Because Putin's going to look at us like, fight your own wars. Fight your own wars. That's what Putin's going to say, because he's not interested in that. He doesn't want to help America. He wants a Soviet Union. He doesn't give a fuck about America. Donald Trump is, a means to the end. How you say that? Like, that's all we are to Putin.
I got more news for you, Lana. If we were attacked in this country, there's a possibility Putin might have something to do with it. What do you think of that?
Exactly that.
Because this is exactly what Putin wants. He's been thinking about this forever and ever and ever. They have already attacked our country. They attacked it in 2016 by basically stealing the election from Hillary Clinton. And yes, I use the word stolen. They absolutely did it, because without Facebook and without social media and all that bullshit that can spew all the disinformation that came from Russia, Hillary Clinton would have beat the shit out of Donald Trump. That's the only reason why she lost. And now you have him literally on the inside of our government, where not only are they defending him, but they are castrating out the guy who is being attacked by him. It is fucking sane. And how just anybody with a minimum 8th grade education does not see this is beyond my comprehension. I just can't understand it, Lana. Can't understand it. Anyway, we were talking about Marco Rubio, what a little teeny tiny pussy ass dude he is. Here he is with Caitlin Collins talking about the apology. Why isn't he not apologizing? And CNN decided to show him, he's thanked the Americans numerous times.
Criticizing Zelensky for not saying thank you specifically during that meeting, those 40 to 50 minutes that we were in the Oval Office. But certainly, you know very well, Secretary Rubio, your time as a senator here in Washington, that whenever Zelensky has come to Washington before, he has very much expressed that kind of gratitude. Just listen to this.
Thank you for both financial packages you have already provided us.
Really, all my appreciations from my heart, from the heart of Ukrainians, all Ukrainians.
So what can I say to American people in English? My English is poor. To say all my messages and all my thanks to you.
And thank you very much for supporting us, our people.
Thank you, United States. Thank you, America.
Ukraine is grateful to the United States for its overwhelming support.
Do you think you can make the argument that he hasn't said thank you?
Well, I think the vice president said he hadn't said it today. He hadn't heard it today in that meeting. And we were hoping that meeting would begin by thank you for everything you've done for us. We wouldn't be where we are today without you. We wouldn't even have a chance to negotiate a peace without the help you gave us. By the way, without the help you gave us when you were president in the first term, because President Obama refused to provide them defensive capabilities in terms of
Russian propaganda he finishes with, and I don't know, man. I can't believe, Lana, that this is our country. I really can't believe it. There's gonna be, there's times in history that we look back on and we're like thankful that we did not live through it. There are times maybe when we were alive going, man, things were a lot simpler back then and things were a lot easier, and I'm sure it's always different for you than it is for me, but you get the gist of what I'm saying but right now, what we have to live through in this country right now is just absolutely incredibly painstakingly unbelievable, just unbelievable that we are living through this time and that we have actual Americans who are siding with this and doing it with attitude, doing it with bluster, and doing it with a I don't give a fuck attitude about other Americans. And it's unbelievable to watch. It's just truly unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, that was just and that one part of me wanted to at least be like, you know what? Rubio is weak, but he knows better. So maybe at some point he's not going to be able to do it anymore and he will just resign. Watching that is like, no, he's not. He's just going spread the lies. Like he didn't say thank you that day. Is the petty?
Which I believe he did, by the way.
I was gonna say, I guarantee you, when he got out that limo and came and shook his hand, and he was like, "Thank you, Mr. President."
Yep.
Well, we didn't get that shot because he was so busy saying, "Oh, we knew he wasn't gonna wear a suit." Like,
you know what they were doing? I mean, they're setting it up to as if he was thankful for the last administration, but not this administration. So that he was actually rooting for Biden and Kamala Harris. So they're going to take it out on him because he wasn't rooting for them. But I'll guarantee you, he doesn't give a fuck. Well, I'm sure he did care who won, but right now, this man is in the middle of a war. His people are dying, and you hear people go, well, he just needs to give up and maybe his people will stop dying. But he's defending himself. That's like if somebody's coming at you in a fight and you just say, well, let him beat me up. It's just like, what is the mentality here?
Somebody, like you said, somebody comes into your house.
Yeah.
And your family is there. You're just like, you know what? Take my girls, rape them. I give up.
Yeah.
Take them.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Y'all
let them do it. Yep.
Yeah, just take my wife too. Her pussy's good. Take it.
Unbelievable.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, what is the problem here? This is like none of this is rocket science. You really, the truth is just right there. And it's so easy because it's so simple. Because once again, Putin bad. Putin broke into their home.
Right.
He's defending his home. But to go Putin good, blame the victim, you literally have to twist yourself like this to make that work. Like that's a harder fit. Y'all out here just he didn't say thank you. He didn't say thank you 2 times, knock on wood, crawl on his knees, then kiss Trump's knuckles. He didn't, right? Like what? It's just like the goalposts is everywhere.
Well, they do like they always do. They use the revisionist history. They're using history to kind of change it and twist it. I heard somebody the other day say that America broke treaties against Russia. And I was like, no, America didn't break any treaties. They let some expire, but they never broke a treaty or an agreement. They bring up James Baker, that James Baker told Gorbachev that they would not move, what was an inch more to the east or to the west, whatever he said. And that was just something that he told him, but there wasn't a signed agreement. It wasn't in writing. If you want to say, hey, that's a shitty thing to do, to tell them, but things change and there's reasons why things change. And, that's what happened. But at the end of the day, Vladimir Putin and Russia are not the good guy. I don't care what kind of history you give me. I don't care how you want to twist it and turn it, like you said, but that's just the bottom line. Looks like we have somebody new in the chat. LT, thank you for joining, LT. What has this administration done for Ukraine? Right now, nothing. I mean, all other than bully them. They have just bullied them. That's the only thing that they have done so far. Angel, hello, Angel. Don't ever apologize for being late. We always appreciate when you join. And now we have Sam Lucan. What is hard to understand that Russia wouldn't want NATO nuclear missiles on the border? We would invade Mexico tomorrow if roles were reversed. See, Sam is a trained monkey for Russia and Tucker Carlson. And Sam, one thing that I want to give you a little bit of advice on, because something tells me that you have typed this into a chat numerous times. It's BORDER, not BOARDER. And I know every one of you MAGAs spell it that way. I don't know why, but it's BORDER. And until you can learn to spell correctly, I'm not going to continue on with my conversation with you. But Lana, there was one person that warned us about all of this, and it happened during one of the most dominant debates that I think I've ever seen in my life. Her name is Kamala Harris, and this was her warning during the debate.
I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Period. And again, she's dead on. She was dead on. Hillary Clinton was right about him as well.
The exact same thing. He's a freaking Putin puppet.
Yep. And Sam, I see you say so. No answer. Okay, laughing my ass off. The United States has nuclear weapons, and Mexico and Canada are on our border. They're not nervous about anything because the United States would never think about using nuclear weapons or anything like that on their border. First of all, they went into Ukraine and they worked out a deal to get rid of their nuclear weapons. So Ukraine has no nuclear weapons to speak of. So, Russia is the threat. Russia's always been the threat. If you want to be an American that bows down to Vladimir Putin, then I say shame on you, and continue to live your life as
Say that again, like shame on you, Sam. You fucking suck. Because if you think that it is okay for somebody to come in and just take over someone's land, because we just talked about it. Putin came and took Florida, your ass would be having a fucking heart attack. You'd be like, Trump, do something, call the military. And now because Trump said that Putin is good, you're saying, well, Putin must be good. The motherfucker takes criminal, like he takes prisoners. You can't run against Putin unless you want to die. Like if you run against him, you will die. Like he's been president for fucking ever. Why is that? Because
Right.
he's a dictator. You can't have your own bank accounts. You can't watch. You only watch what Putin tells you to watch on TV. If he wants you to have Wi-Fi, then you have Wi-Fi. If you don't, then you don't. Like, come on, Sam, do fucking better. Do some research. You sound like a whole fucking idiot out here.
Sam is going to do the only research Sam is going to do is what Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens tells him all day. That's all Sam cares about. And these are the same people who say to me, CNN. First of all, I don't watch CNN, but I always find it funny the people who yell CNN are the ones who immerse themselves all day into right-wing propaganda. So you want to see a funny clip, Lana? And we can laugh about how stupid the guy that they implemented in as our president, in a sense. We know who our president is now. It's Vladimir Putin, and our vice president is Elon Musk. But they asked, could you imagine if they asked President Biden this, President Obama, even Bush, any president before, they asked him about AUKUS, which was the Australian, the UK, and American coalition. And they asked him about AUKUS, and just watch this dumb fuck's reaction.
We've been discussing AUKUS with the Australians and the Brits. Will you discussing AUKUS with the Prime Minister, sir?
What does that mean?
AUKUS, the Australia-US Defence Alliance.
Yeah, well, we'll be discussing that. We've had another great relationship, and you have too, with Australia.
Yeah.
We've had a very good relationship with Australia, please.
Mr. President.
What does that mean? I'm the president of the United States, and I've got to ask the reporter what AUKUS means. I mean, this is such a fucking embarrassment. And the funny part is, Lana, is that, see, I've had people, that kind of still think a little bit of this is funny. Like, are you watching? First of all, I'm not watching one fucking second of that State of the Union address tonight. Not 1 second. I refuse to watch it. But I heard somebody go, watch it. It's going to be hilarious. I'm like, guys, we're at a point now where I don't find any of this funny. I even am at a point where I love Jon Stewart and I love all those guys. Like I loved Stephen Colbert. I loved watching the monologues and all that stuff because it was funny. But now I'm having a harder time laughing about this stuff. I just am. None of this is funny. This is serious fucking shit that's going on in this country right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we're still laughing about that, we're almost giving it some sort of credibility in a way. Is that wrong?
No. You're absolutely right. When I see the comedy shows too, I'm like, this isn't funny. Like it's dangerous, right? Like we see people are really losing their jobs. You're firing veterans, but you're also getting rid of the suicide hotlines for them, so they can't even get help if they're stressed out. So now we do know that that's the other level and the other part to this. What's going to happen? The suicide rate is going to go up, just like the unemployment rate is going up. I don't hear Trump touting the economy right now, because every time we wake up, the market is like at the lowest, right? The economy is tanking right now, and it's silence.
But you know what? When the stock market was booming during Biden, he would come out on his little Truth Social and he would say dumb shit like, the reason why it is booming is because the prediction is that I'm going to win the presidency. Now that he is the president, it is absolutely tanking. And we will we'll talk about that, Lana, here in just a second. Let's catch up on a couple of comments. Sam, I already told you to go away because you don't know how to spell correctly. So it's not siding with Putin to understand his motives and seek the best solution. charging towards nuclear war. You're a sucker, Sam. We're not going towards nuclear war. Nuclear war is not happening. You don't need to worry about that. And if it does, on Vladimir Putin's side, if you're taking this, because he's the only one that's going to cause nuclear war. What is the solution other than sitting down to make a deal? The solution is continuing to aid Ukraine and give them the weapons that they need to fight off this fucking madman. And you are siding with Putin if you are using the false narrative that Vladimir Zelensky needs to end this war for peace. The only thing Donald Trump wants out of this is credit that he ended the war. He doesn't give a fuck what happens in this war.
Like, who sitting down and come to what fucking deal? What don't you understand about Vladimir Putin? That's why we said go back and read a fucking book. Look up KGB. Just go, hey Siri, what's a KGB? So you fucking find out. People that have been in the KGB, Putin does not make deals. Why do you think that Putin has been in office for decades? He doesn't make deals. There are no deals. He signs peace agreements. Then he goes and he fucking starts a war. Trump is no fucking straw man that's going to control Putin. Putin is in control, Sammy. Trump can't say anything bad about him. Do you forget that Putin is the one that takes hostages? What don't you understand?
Sam, I want to ask a question to Sam. Sam, if you're still around, why is Donald Trump not having that same sort of language with Vladimir Putin that he is with Zelensky? Why is he not a tough man when it comes to Vladimir Putin? And you 100% are backing Vladimir Putin, and not because you know any better. It's because your daddy is telling you to, and you are following orders because you don't know what you're talking about. Our friend DA is in the chat. DA, thank you for joining as always. Ukraine does not possess nuclear weapons, as we discussed earlier, because they did make that deal, the Budapest agreement that they had made, a memorandum that they had made years ago. And in that memorandum, it was that nobody was supposed to attack the Ukraine once they gave up their nuclear wars or weapons. What is it that you are unable to comprehend about these two statements? And I'm assuming DA is talking to Sam as well. Sure DA would love to be, he's probably chomping at the bit to talk to Sam. But I will also say too, Sam, I'm not letting you get to me too much on this because part of it is a troll. Part of it is just the fact that you don't really know what you're talking about. And you're just, we've dealt with people like you before. We already know who you are. You're just the guy that's going to agree with everything a lifelong con artist has said to you. And it's your entire life. I guarantee you this guy Sam has a cardboard cutout of Donald Trump somewhere in his house. Guarantee it. I guarantee you he has spent a minimum of $1,000 on Donald Trump merchandise. He's probably got the flag with Trump's head and Rambo's body on it. Baby Juggernaut. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to miss Baby Juggernaut there. So direct strikes on Russia soil with U.S. missiles isn't a path to nuclear war. That's not happening. Guys, will it be a recession or another Great Depression? We're definitely heading towards a recession. No question about it. A recession is coming. How bad is it going to be? I mean, right now, we have the possibility of another 2008, 2009 type recession happening here. Now, there is a few things I'm trying to wonder about, Lana. I'm wondering when you're putting the tariffs and everything on these other countries, you know that automatically is just tank the stock market. It's going to raise prices for all Americans. And as Elon Musk said, before the election or after the election, when they were talking about their plans, that it's going to cause pain for Americans. They're already setting it up for the greater good is going to cause you pain for a little bit. So just hang tight with us, pay a little bit higher prices because that's patriotic and that's American. And I guarantee you, Sam probably has that thought now, is that it's patriotic to pay more so we can get stuff back to America. But I'm wondering, if they are setting this up to make it look so bad And then Donald Trump's going to find a way to reverse these tariffs. He's going to find a way to reverse everything. So the economy goes back to normal, but they make it look like that what they did was the right thing. I don't trust anything out of this administration.
Right.
So who knows? Trump wants rare earth, baby Juggernaut says. Can Sammy even spell KGB? Sam, spell KGB. DA has a question for you, and he wants to know if you could spell KGB. So if you can help DA out on that, we would appreciate it. He has said many times you can't badmouth someone, then ask them to make concessions. Ukraine could get missiles if they want to join NATO. Dude, come on, man. All right. I'm not reading any more of your comments.
That's just wild.
Yeah, bro, he's firing Americans. The market is crumbling. They're dismantling this country. Musk is stealing our info to sell to China. Yeah, like, why are you so concerned about what's going on? I know why, because they've suckered people like Sam. They always do what's the thing that I always hear? I never saw the movie, but I think there's a funny, famous thing in one of the cartoons where the character yells out "squirrel" to distract, or he gets distracted when he sees a squirrel, whatever. They keep throwing squirrels in front of these people, and they want to distract them so they can fuck them over time after time after time. What is your stance, Sam? I'll read your comment if you tell me what your stance is on the stock market tanking, on prices going up, on unemployment, where people are losing their jobs left and right, where people are not going to be able to afford groceries anymore. Don't even fucking mention the last 4 years. Don't want to hear about Biden. I'm talking about right fucking now. You tell me what you think about what's happening to your country right now, and stop worrying about Russia and Ukraine, because we're not going to be affected by it. And if we had a strong president, and one that had fucking balls and wasn't compromised by Vladimir Putin, then these are not discussions that we'd be having. We would still be going down the same path we've always been going down. Not one person, Lana, before Donald Trump won, did you hear one person say, we're heading towards World War III because of this war? Nobody said anything like that. They were saying Ukraine's just fighting the war and we're helping out.
He said it, so his, as you said, flying monkeys start.
Yep.
So
yep. I'll admit tariffs look bad short term. But I'm hopeful for long-term growth and manufacturing gains. First of all, if you like manufacturing gains, Sam, then you should have said, I'm voting for Kamala Harris, because the last administration had almost triple the amount of manufacturing gains than Donald Trump's administration did. You can look that up yourself if you'd like. And that's the other reason what pisses me off is that people just don't have facts. They have no idea what they're talking about. They just say stuff like manufacturing gains, better for America, but they don't understand the pain that it's going to cause, and the reality of that actually happening is not realistic. It's just not. The manufacturing gains that you think that you want is going to cost these companies way more than it costs them now. What makes you think that this is going to work out in the long term? He's ready to pay higher prices for this long-term grift. Get the fuck out of here, Sam.
Because that's exactly what it is. It's like, y'all be okay with us robbing, stealing in your pockets. We're going to be in your pockets, but you're going to be okay someday.
Yep.
You just keep waiting, and we're just going to be over here selling all these Bitcoins, investing your money and all of these Bitcoins, giving Elon all of these government contracts. So he's making freaking $8 million a day or whatever the fuck that is. Like, y'all, like, that is crazy. Like, when I say they be doing this thing to get in, make these facts work for them, like these alternate facts, they just really twist themselves. They refuse to see the writing on the wall. Like, he's fucking firing people, and y'all are still like, go ahead. We need that to happen. Yes, we don't need all those FAA people. Fuck the planes flying from the sky. What measles? We don't need anyone talking about the measles, because the bird flu is still happening. But your president has not talked about the bird flu. So who the fuck knows what's going on? God, we don't even have a health department. Like, he's just getting rid of all of the South Carolina was on fire, and this motherfucker was golfing. He's like, fuck the fires. I'm golfing and doing his dance jig in the same golf clothes that same night with Elon and his kid on his shoulder. Like, y'all wildin'. And again, Nebraska's going bankrupt because y'all fucking dumb red states don't even understand what the fuck is going on.
They're the first state to go bankrupt. I mean, one of many. I just realized what MAGA are, Lana. I just realized, it just dawned on me who they are. They are the reasons that we still get these emails from crown princes from Saudi Arabia that say, if you just put $3,000 in this account, we're going to send you back millions of dollars. And that's the reason why these emails still show up in this country, because Sam is the guy that sends the $3,000 to the people asking for it. So the crown prince, the son of this ultra rich person who died, felt like that they wanted to give their riches to other people. But the only way I can send it is through this wire, and it's very costly. So if you send this, I will send you the money. And Sam is the reason why those emails still exist. But let's get back to some more clips, and we'll catch back up on the comments. Lana. Okay, our vice president was on with Joe Rogan again, and there is good news. Joe Rogan continues to fall down in the rankings as far as podcasters are concerned. What's even better news is who has overtaken them, and that is the Midas Touch, which is a left side politics and media outlet, and the fact that they are number one now is positive.
Yeah.
But he was on with Joe Rogan again. The suckfest between these two are just disgusting. But here's Vice President Musk talking to Joe Rogan about the Social Security in our country. Let's keep in mind that this is coming from a man who was born in South Africa and it was not born into this country, and also came to this country and worked here illegally when he first came here. But Sam, this is one of his heroes.
I mean, the government's one big permit scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all.
Did he just say, yeah, you could talk about this better than anybody? Is that what Joe Rogan just said?
Wind it.
Government's one big permit scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Yeah.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, people pay into...
He says, explain that. Tell me if you can understand the explanation.
So, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security,
this guy's in charge.
Far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay.
Joe Rogan's going to pretend like he knows what he's talking about.
There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations. So basically people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired.
Not in your household.
That live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
I dare somebody to explain to me what the fuck he just said.
So we got it? I mean, to me, he made an argument for why we actually need immigration, right? Controlled immigration, not immigration out of control, because that keeps Social Security solvent. They pay into Social Security.
Right.
And cannot collect our Social Security. So they are the ones that keep it solvent. When you get all the immigrants, we're not going to have enough Social Security. That's why they want to kill us. Like literally, that's why RFK Jr. is like the head of the health department, because he just wants old people to fucking die so they don't have to collect their Social Security anymore. That's probably the biggest plan, but that's why Nebraska again is going bankrupt.
Right.
Because they wanted to get rid of all the immigrants because they're motherfucking racist. And now what? There's no one to do the jobs.
That's an excellent point, by the way. But, again, people look at this Elon Musk like he's a genius. And you could tell even Joe Rogan, who tried his best to understand what he was saying. He couldn't understand what he was saying, but I think you and I, we've talked about this before. There's this really sad, pathetic thing in this country is there is this idolization of multi-billionaires, and what they equate with multi-billionaires is far exceeding intelligence than everybody else. Elon Musk has some intelligence somewhere in a tech industry. What it is and where it is, I'm not exactly sure. But overall, he's not a very intelligent man. And we have people out there thinking that this guy is the best person, the guy who receives subsidies from our government, the guy who is under investigation from the very departments that he is destroying.
He's not under investigation anymore. Didn't they get rid of that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was under investigation from the departments that he's destroying. Yes. Exactly. So how in the world is anybody looking at this? Because they love to use the word corruption. Right. How is this not corruption? And I made this point before, Lana. We have a government that says, I don't believe in climate change. Right. We have a government that subsidizes cars that combat climate change. If we have a government now that pulls out of the Paris Agreement and says we do not support climate change, then we should not support the subsidies that go to the cars that combat climate change. So why is Elon Musk getting money still to his companies?
Right.
Sam?
Because the nuclear weapons, they're lined up in front of Tesla. And
all right. Last couple of clips here, Lana. Here's a guy, the fuck around and find out guy, who worked for the federal government, but he voted for Donald Trump. You're never going to guess what happened to him. He is no longer working. And here, there's part of you, obviously, just as a human being, where you're like, well, fuck, that sucks. He got duped. But just listen to him at the very end here. And then you're just like, you know what? This is why we say you get exactly what the fuck you deserve.
I feel like I've just been swept up in a dustpan and thrown out.
James Diaz started his job at the IRS office in Galesburg last April. First as a tax advisory specialist, then a few months later as a fuel compliance officer, a move he took as a promotion with a pay raise.
This right here is my termination letter.
A week ago today, Diaz was fired, receiving a letter from the Federal Office of Personnel Management.
Here's where it comes. Taking into account your performance and in light of mission needs, the agency finds that your continued employment at this agency is not in the public interest.
Diaz is a combat veteran. He served in the Army during the first Gulf War. After working as a truck driver and in manufacturing factories, he got his college degree in 2020.
I am upset, mad, and just confused at how they could treat people who put their life on the line for the country, who put themselves in harm's way, can be treated like this.
He says his OMP letter implies he was underperforming, something he calls a lie.
This was my first boss's narrative on my performance.
Diaz showed us his performance reviews.
You consistently take steps to identify and avoid work delays. You attempt to use your time in an efficient manner, whether waiting on customers, researching, or other duties assigned. You keep yourself constantly busy with productive work. Absolutely directly contradicts what I've got in that OPM letter.
He took pride working for the federal government. Now, as he's left to find a new job, all he feels is frustration.
I voted for Trump, but I still support, a lot of his policies. But I don't necessarily support the the method that he's implementing them. It's like, to me, there's no thought behind it. It's just chop and roll, and then we'll fix it at the other end. A lot of us didn't deserve this.
I mean, simply amazing, right? He was warned. You were told this was going to happen to you.
He's suffering, but he's still going, but I support his policies.
Yep.
Like, that's a MAGA. Like, you can't, they're like constantly cutting off their noses despite their faces. It's just like, man, this is happening to me, but I still like his policies. That also means, like, I just never thought that it would hit me. I don't care how he fucks over the black people, those brown people, the women, because it ain't gonna happen here. I don't give a fuck. And it's happening to him, and he's still going, well, I still support the policies. Like, I guarantee if Trump could run again, that motherfucker would vote for him again.
No question.
Again.
No question about it. I will tell you, either stupidity or racism, xenophobia, homophobia, misogyny, those emotions and those thoughts have to be way, way, way more even powerful than I thought that they could ever be.
Yeah.
But when you are voting against your own interests, because that's the only other thing. That's it. That's the only other thing that I can come up with that you would vote against your other interests, is that you're just really, really stupid. And it appears to me that guy who is getting many reviews from his boss, and obviously seemed like he was doing a good job, I have a hard time believing that he's stupid. I mean, I mean, what policies could it possibly be?
Getting rid of the brown people? I don't know.
That's got to be one of them.
Remember, there's like two different Trump voters. There's the MAGA, who we're never, ever
Never. Yep.
They are in that bubble. They are a cult because they think we are a cult, but they're the ones that don't. Trump could say, wow, I woke up this morning and the sky was brown.
Yep.
And fairy dust it was raining fairy dust, and they would believe it.
Yep.
Liberals or libtards would be like, wait a minute, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, we look stuff up. Like, the perfect example is Trump saying that Hamas was using condoms to make bombs or whatever he was saying.
Right.
Normal people look that up. MAGA, that his word is his bond. Like, they just go with it. Like, and then they will start tweeting about it. Or so Sammy probably talked about it too. It was the bombs. They're making bombs with condoms. Like, they won't. There's no critical thinking. Zero.
Lana, they believe shit that you don't even have to look up. You're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You really believe it? Are you out of your fucking mind? You're sitting here telling me that Haitian people are eating dogs and cats?
It's true.
Like, where are we in this country where people are believing this stuff?
Yeah.
And again, do they really believe it, Lana?
The MAGA do.
I guess they do.
Still, it's so much. Like, there's just a lot of moving parts to this shit. It's like, it's the MAGA, and then there are the people who voted for Trump because they're just low-informed voters. I think there's still room for those people when they start getting fired. MAGA don't care. MAGA literally, they don't care. They're the white people who are dirt poor. But if they were able to own a slave, they thought that they were shit on by the rich people and they were dirt poor, but they treated their slave the worst because they knew that they were only one step above them. Like, they hated that. And that's how people are. It's like, they're shit. They're low achievers. Like, they have to hate somebody.
Yeah.
They gotta hate somebody. Women.
Well, that's what it's been. That's what they're low achieving people. And even that guy didn't even seem like he was a low achiever, but he still has probably this attitude where he can't be clumped in because
He's not
Also, there are people in this country that look at federal employees and look down on federal employees. So if you look down on federal employees, now you're lumped in a group of people that are being looked down upon. So now he's got to separate himself from the other federal employees, and that may be exactly what it is. DA just says MAGA believes Sharknado was a documentary.
But think about this guy. Trump said, called military people suckers and losers. And we always go, why are military veterans voting for someone who would say this? Like, are they saying he didn't say it?
Yeah.
Like, is that like so they believe Trump over the 4-star general?
Well, look, we're at a point now, it doesn't matter. You can have 90 people say, I was in the room, I heard him say it. He comes out and says it, and they all just say, you just hate Trump. And you're just like, okay, whatever, fuck it. Baby Juggernaut says, we were too hard on him. He deleted all his comments. Oh, I don't know why he deleted the comments, but it's not like they're going anywhere, Sam. We're not submitting them to the National Archives or anything. Last clip on I don't know who this gentleman voted for. But this is a gentleman who owns a car dealership. And being one time in the car dealership, I can tell you that a lot of people who own these car dealerships, I know exactly who they are voting for. So here is a guy who owns a Dodge Jeep store. And they were interviewing him about now the prices of his vehicles ever since the tariffs have been put in place, which there's already an instant impact. And you can tell that this guy is not, even though he's kind of smiling at the end and laughing, he's not thrilled about the future of the car business.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram.
Yeah.
Impact.
Dramatic. I sold order for a customer, $80,000 truck. It's $100,000 now. So he's not going to buy the truck. It's going to sit on my lot at the higher interest rates we're paying right now for floor plan, and nobody's going to buy the truck because it just had a $20,000 price increase.
Right.
By the way, real quick, everybody knows you buy a house, it's going to increase in value. When you have a $100,000 truck sitting on your lot, as soon as you drive it off, it already loses value. Imagine it sitting there and not selling. That is going to destroy his, as he called, floor plan.
Kelley Blue Book will put the number up. They say the average vehicle will go up by about $3,000. Does it sound right to you?
No, it will not. We don't have the broad stroke. We don't have the linear, the tight strokes. But to me, it's a 25% tariff.
Keep in mind, this is on Fox News.
So that affects our parts that come from over these countries and a whole bunch of our cars.
And you've been basing your business model on free trade, basically. This is what the American Automakers Policy Council says, Maria, in response to this. They say our American automakers invested billions in the U.S. to meet the requirements of the current free trade agreement. They shouldn't have their competitiveness undermined by tariffs that'll raise the cost of building vehicles in the U.S. and stymie investment in the American workforce while competitors from the outside of North America benefit. The German, there's no tariff on the German cars coming in now.
No, they're Japanese. They're going to be okay, but think about it. We built our business around that. The OEMs built their business around that, and now it changes on a dime, and we can't build a $4 billion plant overnight in the United States. So I think building in the United States is great. I think enhancing the participation from the other countries on the other things, but this is pretty radical.
I hear you.
Now, you said, Lana, hey, it's good it's on Fox News. You're about to hear Maria Bartiromo, because it's on Fox, and when they interview an owner, that the interview might not be as bad. Well, she hears this and she's like, holy fucking shit, how am I going to handle this? And you can see her wheel spinning. But what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say to Sam saying, all the manufacturing, even if we were able to, bring the manufacturing here with whatever parts we need, so we're not getting them from Canada or wherever, it's going to go up. Like the price is still going to go up because we're building certain parts in Canada to keep the cost down.
Right.
Because it's cheaper to build them in another country than build them here. So when we do it here, we're still going to have a price increase.
No question about it.
Like
Well,
that-
I was listening to somebody explain, Lana, them building, they put the mold of a carburetor in Canada, and then they ship it down to Mexico so Mexico can build the carburetor. So that shipping to Mexico, there's a tariff on it. And then when it shipped back to Canada, so they could put it, it was, where they ship it back and forth, there's all these tariffs. So then by the time they get to America, it's even a lot more money. So it's out of control. But let's watch Maria Bartiromo try to figure out how she's going to spin this one. And she did as well of a job, or as poor of a job, I should say, as she could.
There you go, Maria, where the rubber meets the road here.
Watch
All
her
right,
react.
great. Yeah.
Great.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff, thank
Uh-oh.
you. Thank you so much. Jeff Flock at the Dodge Ram plant. Not plant. It's not a plant, Chris. They're selling cars. Thank you, dealership. But you know what? Let me ask you this, okay?
Yes.
How many Dodge Rams do you see driving around Europe?
Nailed it.
How many Dodge Rams do you see driving around
Yep. Look at the
India?
panel. Yep. You got it,
Not many,
Maria.
I bet. Why? Because they don't buy our cars. And that's what President Trump is trying to change. Maybe Dodge should start building them here and selling them here.
Great job, Maria. You did very well, comrade. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you could see her wheel spin. She's like,
well, and then when she got it, she was like,
she's like, wait, I got one.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, why don't they just sell it? I mean, like, whoa. Yeah. Didn't you hear the guy? Nobody's going to spend $20,000 more for an $80,000 truck.
Right.
This is unreal. This is unbelievable. All right, Rona. That's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Aren't the Celtics on? I don't know.
Not tonight. No.
I'm gonna watch the thing.
Although the other night, when they went up 25-3 against Cleveland, and next thing you know, Cleveland's back in the game and then fucking wins the game, that irritated the shit out of me.
Yeah, we're good at giving up lead.
They do, man. That is goddamn.
We do best. We give
They
up.
tried to do it against Denver the other day too, but they actually pulled that one out. But listen, we got a long season still. Second half of the season, we'll hope we can pull out another championship. But in the meantime, Lana, would you like to finish up with any words of wisdom?
I don't know. I don't.
Or to come up with any.
I know. Before we used to be able to, like, but now it's just like, hang in there, man. Just hang in there. I don't even know what to say. We haven't even gone through the first 100 days. But something's going to break. Like, you can't go this rapid pace with this nonsense and something doesn't break. Like, something's literally going to break.
It's broken now, but it's kind of like the dam, right? It's got the cracks in it and the water seeping through it. The dam is about to break, but as always, Baby Juggernaut and Angel says, and of course DA, Angel says 20 grand in a day, 6 to 7 G's extras on cars and trucks now. Our vehicles are too big for the lots and RDS overseas. Oh wait, well, hold on, DA. Right. DA says Boston sucks. What?
He's jealous.
Who's DA rooting for?
Who knows? Like, he's anyone.
Don't tell me you're like a Lakers fan. Definitely don't tell me you're a Sixers fan. Why did they close Michigan from building cars, trucks in the first place? And Baby Juggernaut says good night. So, of course, we want to thank everybody that joined the chat, even Sam. And Sam decided he was going to, I don't know, he's going to delete the evidence. Not really sure why, but I knew it was a Lakers fan. I knew it. I knew he was a Lakers fan. I knew it. and there's possibility they could meet in the finals. Lakers playing decent, but anyway, let's wrap it up. We will be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Lana Quest, will we be seeing the Quest show at 7 o'clock on Thursday night?
I think so.
What's that?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
We have a I think so in the house. So please make sure you tune in. I like the way Lana does it because she leaves you a little excited. Like you get up during the day and you're like,
yeah, I doubt it.
I hope Lana's on tonight, and
Yeah.
the anticipation builds throughout the day.
Right.
And then next thing you know, lights, cameras, action.
Right.
And there she is. And they're like, yes.
Yeah, they're like, I couldn't wait. Yeah.
There it is. All right. Well, Lana, you're the best. Great seeing you as always. And please like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
Might try to come on a little bit later. Do me a favor. Follow me on TikTok if you would, because I've been doing lives literally every night.
Every day, all day. I'm like, how the hell does he do this? Like,
I've been doing them
like
every night. Lana, we got to get the word out there. If you get one or two people, because as you said earlier, this now isn't about the MAGAs. They're fucking shot. There's nothing you can do about them.
Two people to like, if you can reach two people, one person, and have
we need to find the people who are just fucking asleep at the wheel and they have no idea what's happening to them in their country. The hundreds of thousands of people who decided that they weren't even going to go out and vote.
Yeah.
Those are the people we need to start reaching. And I know we're not saying on our very small YouTube show that we're going to land the masses, but as we just said, one or two people. And the more we do it, the more maybe you can wake something up, and those one or two people might be waking up one or two people. And this is serious business. It really is serious business. It really is. I at least I believe it is. Call me a drama queen if you want, but I don't know. I feel pretty good about my assessment there. But Lana, great seeing you, and we'll see everybody again next time.
Everyone, good night.
Good night. Thanks everybody for joining.